Hey, Mom. I'm probably going to need a little snack.
Sean has no appetite control. He's hungry incessantly.
Oh, I can't get in.
Hey, don't worry about it. We're getting there. We're getting there. Roll. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Let go of the arm. Let go of the arm. Put your hand out. Lift it up. 1, 2, 3.
Worse. At this point, he may be approaching 1,000 pounds. Very few people make it to that weight and survive long. Again,
if I had my way each day, my day would begin with food and just end with food.
My 600-Pound Life is one of the most popular television shows. The show's popularity is due to a mixture of things. Like for one, many people want to watch it from a curiosity perspective, how seeing just how big a human being can become. And also people are curious as to how a person can become that big. While obviously you get that big by eating large amounts of food, people are still curious. Others might watch it from an optimistic perspective, where they watch the people on the show and they want them to lose the weight and change their life for the better. And some people watch it from a perspective of fear, either because they have their own weight struggles and are worried that they could one day become that big and view the show as a warning sign of what could happen to them. Regardless, whatever the reason, people still watch the show, and it is undoubtedly one of the most popular shows all across the globe. Even today, it has its own spin-off series called My 600-Pound Life, Where Are They Now?, where we get an update on how the people in the show have improved their life after losing the weight, or if they gained all the weight back after the show concluded. However, the main goal of the people on the show is to lose weight and maintain a healthy weight, as their excessive weight has caused multiple health problems and negatively affected their quality of life. A majority of the show takes place in Houston, Texas, as that is where the office of Dr. Yunao Nazaruddin, also known as Dr. Now. He is the primary treating physician that helps people on the show lose weight. He performs a surgery known as a gastric bypass surgery, or a sleeve gastrectomy. However, he would only perform it on people who have lost a considerable amount of weight on their own by following a strict diet and exercising, and that is what the show follows, the trials and tribulations of people trying to lose a certain amount of pounds. However, the show doesn't just show the people losing the weight, it also shows how the people gain the weight in the first place, as you don't just wake up one day and weigh 600 pounds, the weight gradually increases. Most people are consuming large amount of calories per day, almost 10,000 calories a day is what some people are intaking daily in order to weigh 600 pounds. A common theme throughout the show is that most people on the show experienced some form of abuse as a child and started the weight gain at an early age, and they were never able to control the weight gain, and it eventually snowballed into a weight they could not control. However, how do they get that food, as some of them are not even mobile and are bedbound? That is what I want to talk about today, the enablers of the show, which is what I consider the most disturbing part of the show, the people who enable the weight gain.
How are you?
Fine. All right. Got it. Thank you.
My parents know I eat a lot, but they don't know I eat this much. When I'm eating, sometimes I feel like I'm out of control, but each bite is so satisfying. It makes me feel warm and good inside, if only for a short while. But I'm afraid that one day I'm just gonna eat too much. I'm probably gonna die from a heart attack, or I'm gonna suffocate. But I can't stop myself. My food addiction is killing me, little by little. I made myself get like this because of my eating disorders and everything, and I hate myself more, and that makes me just want to eat more because that comforts me. Something has to change drastically. I need help.
When speaking about enablers, two specific people come to mind. One is the mother of Sean Milliken, and the other is the wife of James King. Let's start with the mother of Sean Milliken. When Sean was introduced to the show, he was one of the heaviest patients, if not the heaviest patient ever featured on the show. He weighed a total of 919 pounds, and according to Dr. Now, he was the heaviest person on earth.
weight. Looks like you're 919 pounds. You may be heaviest person alive right now. This is not a good place to be. At your weight, it's a miracle that you're alive.
In the episode, Sean talks about how he always had trouble controlling his emotions. He would yell, kick, and scream as a kid, which also translated poorly in his eating habits. Compounded by this was a very rocky relationship Sean had with his father. So in order to find some form of comfort, Sean turned to food. It was the only thing that brought him purpose. Sean was like most people on the show. He was always a big kid, and throughout his life he was always overweight. But it started to get out of control when he suffered an injury that left him bedbound. While he was bedbound, he would gain a massive amount of weight to the point that he never did leave his bed, and to this day he would remain bedbound because of his weight. While you might assume he would lose weight being bedbound, it is quite the opposite, as his own mother would bring him large amounts of food in order to comfort him. And in many ways, that is the saddest part of the episode, the fact that Sean admits that he doesn't have anything to live for, he just exists.
I'm killing myself more and more each day. And I'm tired of just existing. I want to have a family, I would love to have friends. I can't even do that though. I need to lose weight just so I can live. I have no other options. And if I don't, I'm dead.
A textbook example of an enabler is Sean's own mother, because she constantly gives in to his demands and overfeeds him, even when he doesn't need it. While the entire blame can't be put on Sean's mother, as she is the one bringing him the food and he is choosing to eat it. What is certain is that Sean's mother isn't making it easier for Sean to lose the weight, as she is giving him access to the food. It is almost like she doesn't want him to lose the weight, which is something that Dr. Now also noticed.
I'm not a doctor, but I am his mother, and I have a lot of experience in dealing with my son, and he's sick.
All right, you need to stop. He's not following his diet.
Okay.
He should have lost more weight.
Yes, I agree.
Your son will get better not because of you, in spite of you.
I'm not denying that, doctor.
All right.
In the end, Sean couldn't cope with his mother's death. He tried to carry on with his weight loss, but he couldn't. He would tragically pass away on February 17, 2019, at the age of 29. His cause of death was labeled as an infection that led him to having breathing problems and ultimately led to his death.
When just being alive becomes the greatest burden in your life, then it's time to look for anything that can save you.
James K. is the second person I want to focus on when it comes to enablers, because his wife is famously known as one of the most notorious enablers. It is truly a sad story, because I get the feeling that James truly wants to change, but in many ways he couldn't because of his enabler partner. James had a similar story to Sean, because both of them experienced difficulties and challenges in childhood. James had an alcoholic mother and also experienced his childhood home burning down the day he buried his mom. But most importantly, like Sean, he suffered an injury that left him bedbound, and he never recovered. To this day, he has never been back on his feet and remains bedbound to this very day. Lisa, James's wife, will continuously bring him food simply because he demanded it, to a point where it was almost heartbreaking, because his own daughter would even tell him that James did not need to eat that much amount of food.
And the path that my dad is on right now is headed towards death. And there's nowhere else it could be headed towards.
Don't eat too much and get sick.
I've been handed a death sentence. So I can't.
The most shocking part of his extreme weight is that his own daughter dropped out of high school to help take care of him.
Have to deal with this.
There you go.
I can tell that it bothers Bailey a lot by the way she looks at me.
My mom pulled me out of school because I have to help with my dad. I don't feel like that I should have to be a caretaker to my dad, because a father is supposed to protect and take care of his daughter.
Just in case.
Just like Sean, James would visit the hospital and would be put on an 800-calorie diet, and he would lose the weight. But as soon as he left the hospital, he would gain the weight.
We had you here in the hospital for a month, and at that time we have you down to 786. So hopefully you see the difference between what you are doing and how you should be doing it. But we still haven't resolved the issue for almost a year. You gain weight every time you're on your own, and neither of you have taken responsibility for that. So you need to lose 100 pounds over the next 2 months on your own.
All right.
here's what I need you to understand. If you don't, we are finished. This is your last chance, okay?
I know.
Okay, you left here 786 a couple of months ago, and I wanted you to lose 100 pounds to get under 686 pounds. Let's see what your weight is at. So you are 788 pounds. This is mind-boggling. You're still not losing weight and you're gaining again.
I understand he had some ups and downs, but he's been really trying now, doctor.
I don't know what else we can do for you. I think the best thing for you is to go back to Kentucky.
Lisa would control his home environment, so that is why James would gain weight. But even when James was in the hospital, Lisa would sneak in food to bring to James. It was like James was addicted to eating, and Lisa was addicted to feeding him. It was a dangerous cycle. Dr. Now let James know that ultimately it was all his own responsibility. He was responsible for his weight gain, and he was responsible for his weight loss. The fact that Lisa kept overfeeding James was something that Dr. Now noticed, and he truly wanted to help James, to the point that he contacted Human Services over this problem, because Dr. Now saw the reality that James wouldn't live much longer on this type of a diet.
So from time to time, we have to call around protective services to intervene and change the dynamic of household that is harming the person. But the problem that we are up against is that the food addiction is not fully understood. So we have to get them to understand what she's doing is not different than poisoning him slowly.
Adult Protective Services, how may I help you?
Yeah, this is Detective Zardan. I'm calling for a patient. I have James King. We got a situation that we need intervention. Well, he's totally bedridden, and he is overfed by his girlfriend. He's not able to get up and get his food.
Does he eat on his own, or does she actually have to feed him? Food to mouth.
No, he eats on his own.
Okay, so how is she overfeeding him?
Because he's almost 800 pounds. He's bedridden, and because he got food addiction, and she provided him food anywhere up to 30,000 calories a day. And that's killing him.
Okay, so he's not following the suggested diet.
No.
Are there any other concerns with him?
The concern with him that he's gonna die soon if we don't get him to lose some weight.
Is he aware of this?
Yes.
Has he stated why he's not losing weight?
Well, the bottom line is that James is a hostage at home because he's strapped in his bed and he has no control over who brings in the food and what food he get there, and people that they're interested to keep him disabled and have the benefit from his disability, they're gonna keep feeding him. So we need somebody to protect him at this point.
And what makes you think that the girlfriend is taking advantage of him?
Because the scale doesn't lie. For a year, we're trying to get him to lose weight. Every time we have him in the hospital, in over a month, we can't get his weight down, over 100 pounds. Then we send him home, he gained all of it back. I was hoping that y'all can do something to protect James for his eating habit from people bringing him too much food and overfeeding until it kills him. So we need an intervention in his home.
All right, I'll go on ahead and type this up and suggest that APS investigate it.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Now was right, because unfortunately, James would pass away on April 3rd, 2020. His cause of death was labeled as kidney failure due to his weight. While both Sean and James were adults who could make their own life choices, it is not hard to see that their own enablers made their life harder, not easier, constantly overfeeding them and bringing them unhealthy foods that they did not need. It is almost like giving someone battling a drug addiction the drugs they so desperately crave. Imagine if someone was a heroin addict and then surrounding them with free heroin. While not the exact same thing, both people are battling an addiction, and giving them the same thing that they are battling against is not helping at all. And while yes, everyone is responsible for their own choices, it is sometimes too hard for people to resist, and we should do everything in our power to help people battling addiction, not push them further down a hole of the addiction. Even in the case of Sean, his mother genuinely seemed like she wanted him to get better, and she had a hard time telling him no. When he asked for junk food, she would just give in to his demands. As Dr. Now told James's wife Lisa, just say no. Sean's mother could have told Sean no millions of times. Sean was bedbound, so somebody was bringing him the food. It was just hard for his mother to say no. In fact, she would bring him food because she felt bad for him.
But I'm a mom, and when your kids say, I'm hungry, Mom, you want to feed your kid. Okay. Because Sean likes to eat pretty regularly, fast food really is pretty much the easiest thing to do. Great. Thank you very much. He has very little in life to really look forward to. So my coming home with something is a very big event for him.
Another example is James. When he wakes up, James demands breakfast be ready, and Lisa and his daughter make it for him and feed him large amounts of food. But why? What would happen if they didn't bring James his food? James is bedbound. All he can do is complain and yell.
I know my family's really worried about how much I eat, but when I'm hungry, I just don't care. I better get what I want or I'm really gonna be upset. Especially in the morning at breakfast. Bro, is breakfast ready?
No, not yet.
Once I'm up and the day has started, all I'm waiting on is sausage, eggs, and biscuits all covered in gravy.
After he gets his eggs and his sausage on there, put the biscuits and gravy in a bowl. So he's not gonna have room.
How many, Mom?
Probably about 4. I've got you 6 eggs and about 5 or 6 pieces of sausage. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Mom, he really doesn't need that much, seriously.
That's what it takes to make him full, so.
Can I give these to him?
Yeah, you can get started.
I always feel guilty because we just keep giving food to him.
It looks good, baby.
When I tell him he doesn't need it, he'll get mad and he'll yell. It makes me angry and sad at the same time. I'm so frustrated.
Ultimately, we will never truly know the reasons why Sean's mother and James's wife kept overfeeding them. We can only speculate. Take Sean's mother, for example. One of the theories as to why she kept overfeeding him is because she felt like it was the only way to keep him with her. Sean's mother didn't want Sean to be independent, and him losing all the weight would have resulted in him moving out and starting his own life. Part of the weight loss plan was for Sean's mother and Sean to see a therapist separately. And well, see for yourself, it was impossible for Sean's mother to separate herself from Sean.
Seeing therapists separately.
I wish I could say we just make 100% effort all the time. We don't.
You know what I'm noticing?
What?
You always use the pronoun we.
Yeah.
So I want you to create a bigger separation between the two of you. What do you think it is about the hospital that makes your appetite less?
Personal reasons.
Sounds like a secret. Oh, so when you're accountable to somebody, maybe somebody strong, that seems to help you. In the long run, Sean, you have to be accountable to yourself.
However, James' wife, Lisa, had a much more sinister undertone, because it was almost like she was sabotaging James's weight, because every time he left the hospital, he would gain weight. James started the show, he weighed 735 pounds. By the time the show ended, James weighed 840 pounds. He gained 100 pounds trying to lose the weight.
Put him on a certain diet, and you follow the diet and give him proper amount of food so he doesn't get himself to 750 pounds. You do your part and he does his part, or I'm through with you. You understand this?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so I'm sick and tired of wasting my time coming here, bringing all the people working for you, and you do nothing.
We need you to help us. We don't need you to degrade us, okay?
It's not my
We need you to help
That
us.
is exactly what I'm doing. I'm offering you help, and the problem is that you abuse that help and you're lying about it. And you two keep wasting all the energy and resources given to you. And you saying you need help?
We don't have to be degraded and put down like that. We're trying.
I'm not degrading you. You're the one who is degrading everyone here.
when you come in and undo all the weight loss and rehabilitation we given to James.
Truthfully, we will never know why Lisa kept feeding James. It's not like she didn't know he was overweight, and it's not like she didn't know that James wanted to lose the weight. Maybe Lisa was just like Sean's mother, she couldn't say no, or maybe she wanted to feed James to death. This is a question that just doesn't have an answer.
Child Protective Services concluded their investigation and determined that as long as James wants the food, that this is not a situation that they can intervene in. So that's unfortunate. But food addiction is still one that is not fully understood. It's a drug and it's killing James just like any other drug.
And as always, thank you for watching.